Former Sony CEO Kaz Hirai has departed the company for good. After spending the past year serving as chairman and director, Hirai passed the baton of CEO to Denki Fukanichiro Yoshida on April 1.
2018
And agreed to stay on as chairman and director to oversee a smooth transition. In a statement today, however, the veteran exec said he had been leaving the company he joined all the way back in 1984. I am confident that everyone at Sony is fully aligned under Yoshida San's strong leadership and are ready to build an even brighter future for Sony, he commented. As such, I have decided to depart from Sony, which has been a part of my life for the past 35 years. I would like to extend my warmest gratitude to all our employees and stakeholders who have supported me throughout this journey. It marks the end of an era for Sony, with Hirai having been involved in the company's global games business since 1995, when he left the Sony Music Entertainment Japan division to join the Sony Computer Entertainment America team. After that, he rose through the ranks and eventually became the face of Sony's global games business as president and group CEO of Sony Computer Entertainment. During his time as the helm, he oversaw the launch of both the PlayStation 2 and PlayStation 3, and helped establish franchises including Jak and Daxter, Ratchet Clank, and Sly Cooper. Speaking at the Game Developers Conference in San Francisco this afternoon, research developer at Blizzard Adasha Miller shared how the STUDIMPLAMENTED social features into Overwatch to promote positive behavior among players. The two social features mentioned above include endorsements, designed to reward positive behavior, good sportsmanship, supportive teammate, etc., conveyed through a level system. Looking for growth, game players the options to link up with players who had a similar playstyle. Miller explains that one of the first steps Blizzard took in fostering positive behavior was adding a thank you message to players after they sent a report. On the flip side, the studio began sending out warning messages to players, accumulating verified penalties. We wanted to give them a chance to change their behavior after we penalized them, Miller said. Blizzard decided to focus on prevention first. How do we go about preventing these behaviors? We did research in the form of focus groups and surveys. Miller mentioned two key areas that usually encourage disruptive behavior among Overwatch players. The first being a lack of social consequence. By performing well within society's expectations, you are rewarded. In online communities, there are not effective consequences, she said. Thus, bad behavior. She added that there also was not a clear way to reward players either, and it was important to highlight those who did play nice. Implementing endorsements was a way to focus on the lack of social consequences. In-game positive reinforcement rewarded players for good behavior, and can be given to an enemy team as well. The more endorsements the player acquires, the higher their level becomes. This feature uses positive reinforcement to be a good player, Miller said. It encouraged consistent, positive play and consequence for deviating from that. If you are not consistently getting endorsements, if you slip up, you are not going to get endorsements and your level is going to slip, she added. If a player does slip up and their level falls, Miller said it was a form of loss aversion. This often causes players to want to get that level back and keep going, which offers a path to redemption. Miller also said that peer recognition was important and endorsements had a positive impact on players after a match. The decision to add loot boxes as a reward after a player's endorsement level increased was something Blizzard hesitated with. It was a really big discussion for us. We did not want to encourage the wrong behavior either. We wanted most of the push to be good to come intrinsically. So loot boxes as reward operated under a more randomized schedule. Even if you slipped, you could come back. If players slipped during any randomized checks, they would not receive rewards. Miller then provided some data as to whether or not the social systems worked. Endorsements in particular. There was a 40% reduction in matches that contained disruptive behavior since implementation. When asked if they saw it as a product of the system, players agreed. The system makes people nicer. Miller explained that players appreciated they were able to show thanks and support for their team. In addition, 50 to 70% of players have given endorsements. Miller concluded by saying that the team was happy with the results so far, and planned on improving upon the systems and maybe implementing more in the future. Bethesda Softworks has resolved a lawsuit it brought against Behavior Interactive and Warner Brothers last June for copyright infringement, breach of contract and unfair competition. Bethesda released a statement earlier today, claiming it had reached an agreement with Behavior, although no further information was given. Bethesda Softworks and Behavior Interactive jointly announced today that the parties have amicably resolved the lawsuit Bethesda brought against Behavior and others related to Fallout Shelter and Westworld mobile games. The statement reads, "This comes after Bethesda accused Warner Brothers and Behavior back in June 20th, for copyright infringement, misappropriation of trade secrets, deceptive business practices, and unfair competition with the release of a Westworld mobile game." Bethesda took legal action after pointing out similarities to Fallout Shelter, accusing the former of copying the same or highly similar game design, art style, animations, features, and other gameplay elements as Fallout Shelter. Warner Brothers and Behavior followed up with a statement shortly after the complaint was filed, saying that the accusations made against them were baseless. Gamasutra has reached out to Bethesda for any additional comments, and this piece will be updated should one be received. Physical games have deeply influenced the way we make video games, and in recent years, the opposite has also become true. Many developers are using digital tools to breathe new life into tabletop games, and the lessons they are learning might be of use in your next big project. In this DD 2018 talk, for example, Fantasy Flight Games, Andrew Fisher shares what the design team learned while making the app-assisted cooperative board game Mansions of Madness, 2nd edition. He discusses the team's successes and failures, as well as how they applied what they learned on the game to the design of its expansions, and offers potentially useful takeaways for fellow game makers. It was a rare look at the state of app-assisted tabletop game development, so if you missed seeing it in person, do not squander your chance to now watch it completely free on the official GD YouTube channel. In addition to this presentation, THEGDC Vault and its accompanying YouTube channel offers numerous other free videos, audio recordings, and slides from many of the recent game developers conference events, and the service offers even more members-only content for GD Vault subscribers. Those who purchased all access passes to recent events, like GD Vault, already have full access to GD Vault, and interested parties can apply for the individual subscription via the GD Vault subscription page. Group subscriptions are also available. game-related schools and development studios who sign up for the Default Studio subscriptions can receive access via their entire office or company by contacting staff via the HGG Default Group subscription page. Finally, current subscribers with access issues can contact the Default technical support, Gamasutra and DD as sibling organizations under parent company Informa. From Forward to Journey. THATGAMECOMPANYSGAMES have a penchant for showcasing innovative and beautiful ways of telling stories. Now the studio is working on a multiplayer game, Sky, and at the 2019 Game Developers Conference you will get to see how they rebuilding its narrative structure to evoke emotion. As part of the BD 2019 Game Narrative Summit, that game company writer Danny Kahn will be presenting a talk on evolving emotional storytelling in that game company's Sky, which should help illuminate how the studio builds emotional narratives, using key examples from the development of Sky.